Anyway, I wanted to show you how the tip turned out, and that's how that works. Oh, see a little spot there at the glue. Because this bell crank was set up a little different, I'm going to have to move it back from the leading edge some, so I had to make some light ply compression spars. Normally I make those out of basswood, but I think the light ply will be sufficient for this airplane. The bell crank will go up through here. It'll have a piece of aircraft ply on top of the sheeting between the fuselage formers so that it won't pull out. I got that all figured out. Kind of slow today. I didn't get much done because I'm looking for pieces. I did. This was the motor that was given to me at Brodax. It's a Super Tiger G21 46. I looked at some of the parts that I had. This was from Viper 7, and so we're going to reuse that. I'll have to sand and paint it the correct color. This is my prop extension that was made for me by Jim Lee. I'm going to do the airplane as close to what Tom had it as possible. I happen to have the correct Williams Brothers pilot that Tom had in his airplane, and I think I've just spotted the horns. I see the box now, so that's a good thing. So I'll be back in a little while. We'll try to reposition the camera. I already have the sheeting made up for the top and bottom. It goes on like so. We still have to do shear webbing and the trailing edge webbing. But first I have to put in the hinge blocks. So this is day 6. We're not quite that far along. As soon as this wing is done, the whole airplane will go together like a snap, because building the elevator stabilizer is one day, and getting the fuselage ready to go is one day. So, you know, it could possibly happen to be together by the end of the week if I can round up all these parts. Because of my situation, I got to use what I got. And this wing is all my junk wood that I had, that I didn't think I was going to use. And it's come out real light, a whole lot lighter than I thought it was. And I think it's going to be a real nice airplane. So I'm going to set the camera down. I'll get back to you in a short. So see you then. Well, everybody, I got to apologize. I lost a little bit of video footage from building this thing. When I downloaded it, it ate it. So we're going to do a little catch up here on what was missed. I've added the shear webs between the two spars, and I'm working on mounting the bell crank now. I still have to get a piece of shear webbing in there. And usually I use basswood for the compression spar, but because this is so big, the compression spar is so big, I'm using light ply. And I probably could have drilled some holes in it, but it's not really all that heavy. The wing is still under 9 ounces, so we're in good shape. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to cut the tubing and suspend the bell crank at the correct height between the two spars. And when I get that done, we will, well, I better go ahead and cut these pieces up. And I'm not going to bore you with me putting in a couple of pieces of wood here. I got to dig for it, so I'll be back after I find that. So, see you in a minute. Well, I have forgot where we were. So, I'm going to pick up where I left off before the camera debacle. I know I missed some footage, but now I have 2 cameras running, and hopefully we won't have that issue again. So what I'm doing today is I put the center sheeting on, and it has a few lumps in it, so we're going to take the block and sand those lumps smooth. That feels good. I want to get a weight on this wing too today to see exactly what it weighs and what I think the projected weight is going to be. I think it's going to come out a little heavier than I anticipated, but talking to Randy Smith last night and knowing that I had a Viper that had a 16-ounce wing, but that was finished. That included the paint and the covering. And then the airplane was 48 ounces. That included the flaps. I think we'll be alright. I want to keep this model under 50 ounces. Like I said, I think the original is about 55 ounces. I don't want to sand this sheeting too thin, because that's how you get a wing to fold up. But I do want it to be flat. That feels pretty good. Oh, a little spot right there. We'll have to get that after I cover it, because it's rather hard. So today we're going to do cap strips. Today's day 6 of the project. And I've got all my cap strip material cut up, so it'll go relatively quickly. You don't want to force cap strips in. You want them to fit in, you know, custom fit each one so that they just drop in. I true up the ends of each one and then set it in and trim it off. Now, this will take approximately a half an hour to install each one of these cap strips. So I'm not going to bore you with the same thing over and over again, going completely down the line. You'll notice it stays in there. That's a good tight fit. We'll glue them after we get them all installed. Now when I made the statement of a complete build, here again, I don't know whether you guys want to see me put in each piece. I mean, these videos would be 400 hours long that way. And I just don't see the need for that. Once I show you how to do something, you know, one time, and now it's 3 times on this. Yeah, that one's a little loose. So we'll move it down to the next one and see if we can get a tighter fit. You don't want those cap strips bowing up, because what that does is it puts power into the wing, and it will warp the wing, because the structural strength of these cap strips is amazing, how much strength they add to the wing. Go ahead and put a drop of CA on that one. Now, I'll just put another one in there, try again. I want this airplane of the same quality as the original. If you ever, anybody ever gets to see this airplane in real life, you'll know why that it's cemented stunt into my brain. It's absolutely beautiful. It's perfect. Or it was. I don't know about now. Some 40 years later. I just eyeball these. I don't measure each one to make sure they're 100% parallel. You can just side them up, make sure that they're parallel. So we've installed 3 cap strips in that length of time, and when I get them all done, I'll pick the wing up and detail glue them completely down to the rib. So I'm going to cut the camera. I'll finish all these up, take about a half an hour, and we'll be back. So see you in a few minutes. Hey, you caught me. I'm detail sanding the wing today. We got about 6 days in, and it's all complete. And now I'm blending the cap strips in to the sheeting. And you just take your time, sight down, make sure they're perfectly level with the sheeting. But this is what you can build with the things around your shop. It did come out about an ounce heavier than where I would like to be, but it's still very serviceable. This wing complete with the flaps will be around 12.5 ounces. Before covering. And that's plenty good. Give you a kind of a look at it. I'm real happy with the results. Using 150 on it now. I did sand some of it with 80 and left some scratches in it. We'll use 150, then I'll drop the 220, and then 320 on the whole airframe. I think what I'm going to do before I start the fuselage is I'm going to go ahead and cover this with the silk span and get a couple coats of dope on it before I start the fuselage. That way it can be drying while I'm building the fuselage, and then when we put it together, the wing will be complete and it won't take much to finish it. But tonight, on day 6, it's just going to be detail sanding the wing. So won't be a whole lot to see with this. I'm sorry that I did lose that footage, but there's not much I could do. And all that entailed was some detail work. It wasn't anything really big or major. I'm using a soft block with the 150 on it. Go over the top of the cap. You don't want to sand these too thin. However, these are 3/32, so we have a little more room to sand than if we were using 16th. But I didn't have 16th. All I had was 3/32. Then I come back with a nail file and I round the edges of the cap strips. And you don't have to sand a whole lot, just knock the edge off. I'm hoping that some of my other contributors get on the stick and start writing some columns. I'm looking forward to having John Miller with his drawings come on board. So in about 5 minutes we've detailed the inboard top. That's it. This will be a real nice model when it's done. So I'll go ahead and post this up, and we'll see you tomorrow.